What if I told you you can just focus on digital product creation without having to worry about everything that comes after you create a digital product? You don't need to worry about creating a sales page. You don't need to worry about creating the marketing promo emails. You don't need to worry about creating the post purchase emails. All of that is automated with AI and no code. And so I'm going to walk you through the entire process and how I'm able to ship digital products faster, how I'm able to focus fully on product creation, less on focusing on promoting the product, and really how I'm able to do all this. And so, yeah, that's exactly what we did. We built a digital products assets generator so that people like you and people like me can focus less on marketing, but really focusing on creating a great product. And so this is the this is what I needed because I love digital products, but I need this for myself. And so I created it for me and I wanted to show it to you. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Tina. I help you really knowledge creators automate their marketing, automate their content creation, repurposing, distribution, pretty much everything so that you can focus purely on creation and less on admin work. And don't be burned out in the process. So let's kind of walk through the flow of creating a digital product. And you probably know this all too well, right? When it comes to creating a digital product, it's not that you just have to create the product itself. Like creating the course, we'll do it in course, is all I want to spend my time on. But I know that it's going to be a lot more work than just creating the course. You have to create the email sequence so that you promote the course. You have to create the sales page so people can actually buy the course. And then you have to create the post purchase emails so people are actually watching the course that they just bought because you really want to have a great client experience. And I'm going to be honest, not many people do the post purchase email sequence because they're focused more on, selling the course rather than getting people to watch the course, right? And so I can say I've been there, done that primarily because it takes a lot of work to create a course. And I just personally have not had the energy to create the post purchase emails. But now that I built this automation in place, it's pretty much done for me. And I recently just did a test with, implementing these post purchase emails. And oh my God, like my course completion rates have gone significantly higher. And people are actually watching the course, asking questions, engaging with me so that people can actually get great results. And so at the end of the day, you want your clients to get great results. And so this is basically all I do now. All I do is create the course, just upload it, and then basically my sales page material, promo material, and post-purchase email material is created for me. Now, in terms of the benefits on why we've done this, again, we want to ship digital products faster. We want to focus more on product creation rather than marketing. And we want to build it and then outsource it, right? So personally for me, like this is the assets generator piece, but I basically at this point just focus on creating the product itself. And then when all those assets are automatically generated, I just go ahead and send it to my virtual assistant and she builds everything out and I don't have to worry about it, right? And so build it, then outsource it. And then it basically, one of the things that I really like about this as well is that it keeps everything in one central database. I am not a big fan of G Suite or Google Workspace in terms of like having like a Google Doc there, a Google Doc there, a folder. It's just way too messy and it doesn't really work for me. And so we're going to walk through the walkthrough of this. But before we get started, if you want to know the tools that I'm using, not only for automations like this, but also for other things as well, then you're going to go ahead and want to check out the description to get our tools recommendation piece. So with that being said, let's kind of go ahead and get into it. All right, so I personally host everything on Airtable. I think it is the better version of Google Sheets as well as the better version of Google Drive. But basically, I want to walk you through a little bit of like mostly three tabs that I focus on when it comes to product creation. And that is the contributions tab in terms of like all the things that I recommend and create myself, the course outlines, as well as the modules tab, right? And so basically, in terms of when I'm creating a new course, what does that process actually look like? Well, the product, process, I would say, the way that it looks like is I actually just, type in the name, type in a little description so I know what it is going to be about, and then pretty much everything from here is blank. Primarily because we're not there yet. You're seeing like some finalized versions of it. But basically, when I have that set up, I go ahead and create the course outline in terms of what is going to be in the course, in terms of the steps, the bonuses, things like that. And so the reason why I like to create this course outline is because it gives me like a high level overview on what is it that I'm going to be creating. And then I'm actually able to link the course directly in terms of what I just created so that I know what this outline and what that relates to. And then another thing as well is that this is also correlated to my modules that you'll see in just a second of everything that makes up that particular part of the outline. So think of it as like a hierarchy in terms of you have like the course outline as the hierarchy, and then the sub bullets are the modules here. So that's an example of that as well. And then we have the modules piece here. So I went ahead and created a list form in terms of this is the final output that I usually create for my virtual assistant. So she can just look at this and just checkbox, and it just tells me that she went ahead and uploaded it. But when it comes to creation in terms of, the course or the content itself, really what I do is I actually just have the high level overview in terms of like what is the modules that are going to make up that particular course outline. I just go ahead and write all of them down here. I write my notes, and then I tag any resources. And then I personally use Komodo Decks to film the course content. And then I just go ahead, and what I like about Komodo Decks is I got a lifetime deal, so that was sweet. But the second thing is it actually is just pretty easy. I just copy the link, paste it here, and then it automatically takes the transcript, and then I'm able to do that. And so as you can see, everything is linked to this particular offer so that I know that it relates to that. And I can also link to the particular course outline that I'm focusing on, right? So I know that these three modules relate to this particular step one in terms of the step one in the course outline. Now, again, we're going to get into like what this looks like in terms of how do we create the assets, Tina? Well, the reason why I say this is because you want to have a process to make sure that you're creating courses effectively and you're keeping it organized. So that's what I do. Second thing that I do is I created this kind of AI field, if you will, where basically it reads the transcript. And if I wanted to essentially like create post-purchase emails in terms of like, I want you to not only like take this course, but I want you to like refer to the modules in this course, then I created a post-purchase email, which we'll get into in a second, for each individual module. Now, that doesn't mean that my post-purchase email sequence is over 10 plus sequences or 10 plus emails. Like, no, but I wanted to kind of have that here, and it's just going to make sense in just a little bit. So bear with me here. So now that the course is done, again, all I did was film and upload. And I guess now I had to click a couple buttons. But the way that it is that I pulled it in. So in this automated newsletter, I'm pulling in all the post-course step emails and all that stuff. And so I created these AI prompt fields where basically everything from that point on is pretty much good to go. But I created these AI prompt fields where essentially I'm able to create the sales page copy, some story ideas that I want to have, and then some story answers, and which we'll get into in a second. And then I'm able to create the email sequence, the post-purchase sequence, the whole shebang. So let's kind of go ahead. Let's cancel that out. Clicked the wrong button. So when we think about this, let's kind of talk a little bit about what it is. All I have to do is click generate again with AI. I already did this, so I don't want to do it again. But this actually creates the sales page for me. This is the sales page copy. And I want you to think from the perspective of like, how did I create this AI in terms of like, how do I create this field? Well, I have this long ass prompt that essentially looks at the transcript. So I have all the transcripts of the modules that I created, looks at the product name, looks at the description, it looks at the price as well. And then it leverages that. And, I have this entire sales page prompt, and then it creates the actual copy for me. And that makes it super easy so that all I have to do is just copy and paste, fine tune format, as you see here, and then that's pretty much all good to go. Now, the second thing that I did in terms of creating the email sequence, one of the things that I've noticed when it comes to selling courses or selling anything in general is that stories go a very long way. But creating an email sequence and figuring out the stories that you want to talk about can be a little bit difficult. So I need a little bit of prompting myself in terms of like, what are the stories that I want to talk about? Because I don't want everything to be like, I don't want like my ideation to be AI generated. I want like the creation maybe to be helpful with AI, but I want the stories to be somewhat original in terms of the content that I speak about, right? So basically it looks at the sales page copy, it looks at the transcript and everything, and I have like, say, hey AI, I need you to create 7 prompt ideas for me to respond to and create for you, and then from that point on you're going to create the email sequence for me. So this is, me kind of responding to them. As you can see here, it's just me like giving a paragraph of the content and things like that, and then I go ahead and I create the email sequences. Again, I will just click a button that says generate with AI, and then it will look within my story prompt ideas, my story prompt answers, all the information that I have within the database so far, and it will create the emails. And the emails are pretty damn good. All again I have to do is maybe just like proof, edit, see how I see fit, but it takes it pretty much all there for me. Same thing that we have with the post-purchase email sequence. So like I mentioned, I don't want to have 10 plus emails. I'm good with like a 7-day email sequence. So that is why I brought in, like, as you can see, everything is tagged to this one record. We have our course outline, our modules, but we also have our post-course set emails. So all of our emails are in one section here versus the individual modules. So it's all kind of cumulative, if that's the right word, in here like that. And so basically, I have an AI prompt. I'll give you a little preview. I have an AI prompt that basically says, hey, look at this. This is the product. This is what I need you to do. I need you to create specific emails for this. And then I'm going to go ahead and give you all the emails that I've written so far. And I need you to select the emails that are going to be good for this overall, but I want you to limit it to essentially 7. And so I also want you to generate the emails, the post-purchase emails with timestamps, everything, so that's good to go. And so we will go ahead and select generate as an example. Let's give it like a minute or so. So I'll be right back. All right, so as you can see, let's kind of open up this record. Basically, once I clicked that button, it actually created the post-purchase email sequence where I actually have, the module referenced, our Q&A link referenced, the timestamps of specific videos, and it actually correlates the videos that I'm talking about. Things like that, which again make it super easy. So all I have to do is give it to my virtual assistant and she will go ahead and create all that stuff for me. And so again, what do I give my virtual assistant so that it's good to go? Well, essentially I give her this list to kind of have everything organized so that she can basically, know what the content is going to be about in terms of the course outline. She can go ahead and, put the modules in there for me and then upload everything, create the sales page copy. She'll generate a URL and put it in there, and then she'll schedule the emails and pretty much did all that, right? But I want you to think from the perspective of you as the creator, the digital product creator, your value and the area that you should be focused majority of your time on is in product creation, right? So this is why I walk through the process of product creation in terms of creating, the course outlines and the modules. And literally all I do is I just upload like I film and then I upload, the transcripts, everything, all that stuff. That's pretty much done with like my screen share provider, and everything else is pretty much generated. And so it allows me to create my content faster, allows me to do everything essentially faster, and I'm able to ship products again faster. So speed matters, and this is why I like this. But I also like it's radically changed my productivity in this, and it allows me to get more time back. So we get speed, we get efficiency, and we get more time. So that's all I got. I hope you found this helpful. Feel free to grab in the description our tools recommendation in terms of how do we build automations like this, but also what are the tools that we use to build automations that we have generally as well. And so, yeah, I hope to see you on the inside of that. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.